resulting from various reasons such as lazy eye or amblyopia that has been found out during the pocket vision screening program. Next, please. Next slide. So the current status, pabalik lang po. Ayan. So the current status of stunting in the Philippines, according to the most recent National Nutrition Survey conducted by the DOST Food and Nutrition Research Institute in 2023 to 2024, is that 17.9% or 2 out of 10 children are stunted, and this is of high public concern. Further, this is a decomposition of analysis. Further to this, a decomposition analysis on the NNS result was made aiming to explain the factors to the contributing gap in stunting. The results of show that maternal factors were significant along with biological and socio-economic status of the households. This even supported by a study in Davao de Oro assessing the quality of meal intake of learners in relation to their academic achievements. It was found out that learners consuming low nutrient diet, example of this are lugaw and pandesal, affecting not only their physical capacity to participate in class, but also in focusing in daily classes. Next, please. So a life course perspective suggests that nutritional changes are most likely to be sustained when they occur during times of developmental transition, such as pregnancy or adolescence. So in this slide, we see the intergenerational link of malnutrition. So ito po yung sinasabi ni Senator Gatchalian kanina, kung saan po nagmula talaga ang malnutrition. So as you can see there, woman who is malnourished and then got pregnant, of course, there's a tendency for her to have low weight gain. With that, magkakaroon siya ng product, which is the baby, who is also low birth weight. And that baby may developmental delays, meron siyang, it could be mortality, high in mortality or mortality rate, and increased risk of adult chronic diseases. So mga diseases na pupunta sa kanya. And then with that baby with low birth weight, pupunta siya ngayon, maging child stunted siya. With that, meron siyang inadequate catch-up growth. And then, contributory factors, we have untimely or inadequate feeding, frequent infections, inadequate food, health, and care. So that child who is stunted, of course, may reduce mental capacity. So dito na tayo ngayon. Inadequate food, health care, yes, contributing factor yan. Sa that child who is stunted can become now the adolescent stunted, which has reduced physical labor capacity. And now, going back, kasi mag-aasawa na itong si adolescent who is stunted, again, magkakaroon siya ng malnourished stage of pregnancy, magpuproduce ulit siya ng baby who is low birth weight. And this woman, kung tatanda man siya, meron siyang potential risk of shortened life expectancy. When she gets older, maging malnourished siya, and then she cannot deliver well. So sana maging apostolic siya sa kanyang mga apo, hindi na siya makapag-labor ng ganon. Kasi nga, masakitin din siya. Ganon. So yun po yung intergenerational link of malnutrition, which is gusto natin sanang putulin kung saan pwedeng putulin. Di po ba? Ayan. Next. Effects of stunting to a child varies just as there are different causes to it, but among the immediate effects involves impaired child development that later on affects their learning capacity. So as a child's mental development is delayed, there is reduction in their dendritic arborization, or the ability of the brain neurons to receive and integrate signals and in the transmission or the synaptic function. So long-term effect are much difficult as it puts the child to increased infections and making them susceptible to non-communicable diseases. Later on, when they try to catch up with their height through nutrition, they are prone to developing overweight and obesity kasi kain na lang sila ng kain kahit ano-ano. Then, through the cycle of malnutrition, a woman or a teenage pregnant woman who is stunted is most likely to deliver an infant with low birth weight. So ito yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, the complications towards that can lead to unhealthy childhood, progressing to more cases of malnutrition. And lastly, the risk to higher morbidity and mortality rates are still linked with stunting. With that, the NNC aims to prevent malnutrition, particularly stunting at the beginning. That is why TKDSP, the flagship initiative of the National Nutrition Council to addressing malnutrition among nutritionally at-risk pregnant women and undernourished children aged 6 to 23 months. So ito yung flagship program ng NNC. This program is anchored to the Republic Act 11148 or known as the Kalusugan at Nutrisyon na Magnanay Act. As one of the guiding principles of the PPAN that food is fundamental right and nutrition is basic child's right, the NNC provides the nutrition intervention towards stunting prevention via provision of supplemental food for pregnant women and complementary food for children under 2 years old. Yes, under 2 years old po. Next slide. So to contribute to improving educational and functional literacy outcomes, the NNC suggests these actions. First, as we pursue prevention of stunting, we must scale up funding for the nutrition intervention in the national and local government budget. This will allow further allocation for programs such as NNC's Tuto Kainan to reach more beneficiaries and DepEd school-based feeding program. Second, to address the root of cause of stunting, expand maternal empowerment initiatives as we recognize that the prevention of stunting should begin at conception or even before, which can start by improving access to maternal education and prenatal care for women. Lastly, the NNC emphasizes the importance of multi-sectoral collaboration to Department of Education, Department of Health, and the local government units to institutionalize nutrition-sensitive policies and programs. Next, please. Yeah, so on behalf of our Assistant Secretary and Executive Director, Dr. Azucena Dayanghirang, we thank each and everyone for listening and for your kind attention. Let us all work together as we aim for nutrisyong sapat para sa lahat. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We'll call on DOH, headed by Dr. Ballesteros.
Mr. Chair, good afternoon to everybody. Sir, we would like to thank PSA for their report kasi po magagamit po namin ito sa aming mga advocacy kasi we all know that health, nutrition, and education are all closely intertwined. And when I was listening to the lecture, ang foundation talaga kasi ng education and health is the first 1,000 days. So what I was thinking, we really need to strengthen our maternal health program kasi ang Department of Health, meron kaming National Safe Motherhood Program. So kailangan para healthy si baby at hindi maging stunted, mothers should avail of the services sa RHU at sa health centers, lalo na yung maternal health package. So each mother should complete at least, ang bago naming policy is 8 antenatal care, and then mothers should give birth sa mga health facilities, and then they are also entitled to 4 postnatal care. So kailangan healthy sila, i-avail nila yung mga services na to, no? However, dun din sa statistics that we saw, yung mga may problems din sa health literacy, yun din yung meron kaming problem sa access to health, no? A lot of mothers, they are not availing of health services, particularly on those regions Kasi sir, may cultural factor din eh. Yung may iba ayaw magpa-anak o magpa-anak sa facilities. And then marami pa ring kulang na kulang pa rin ng knowledge